Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Python tutorial video, and in this video we're going to actually be showing you some basic Python syntax. So here goes nothing. Here we are on my actual Windows 10, so we can run programs pretty good now, and we're not using a visual computer. We're going to download our text editor application. So you want to go and head over to atom.io, and that is going to be our text editor. It'll look like this. You can go ahead and download it for whatever OS. Again, you might need to use a sudo apt command on Linux to download this. You may look into that yourself. I don't know how to do it. So once that's downloaded, you can go ahead and open that up. It should start looking like this, and you can close out every one of these tabs. And then we can do File, New File. And then down here where it says plain text, you can change that to Python. So now this file is set to Python code. Now I can show you some basics, but first this is a text editor, but it won't run the code. So what we first want to do is to write it, then I'll show you how to run it. You can go to File, Save. It's going to tell you where to save it. I save it at my Python code, and I'll save it as YouTube tutorial file. And you don't need to add .py because it's going to be automatically set to .py. So for saving this one, I just put HSSE app, but I didn't include the .py because it does that itself. All files are fine because it already automatically knows it's a Python file because we set it down there. So we can press save, and this is our YouTube tutorials file. So we can go ahead and type in something like import time. As you can see, if it lights up with colors, that means it's officially a Python file. We can delete that because you don't know what that means, and I'm going to write some pretty basic code for you guys to understand. First, we're going to start with printing a message for the user to see. So we're going to type in print with some parentheses, and in between those parentheses we put in quotes, and between those quotes we say what we want to say. So how are you? So there you go. So that is going to say how are you. So we can go ahead and press Control S or Command S. This tutorial is based upon Windows, not Mac. So I'm just going to do that. So Control S to save, and then we want to right click on our Windows Start button and go to PowerShell. And this will open the PowerShell. So what you want to do is change directory to the directory of your code. So mine is in C code Python, and then I'm going to do Python and then no spaces. You could have spaces, but it needs to be, if your file has spaces in between the words, you need to put double quotes and then type in your file name. And then you press enter and it's going to run. How are you? So it says how are you. This is the code to say how are you. Boom. So in the last video I showed you that the program could give input, so you can type in stuff, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to make a variable which you don't know about. I'll explain in the next episode, but basically a variable stores data, any type of data. We can make a variable named user mood, and then we can equal it to input like that. Another way to shorten this code is to delete or copy this, copy it, and then paste it in between here, and then we could just delete this whole line because we don't need it. So basically user mode equals input how are you. So not only does this variable include this command, but it also runs it. So input how are you, it's going to output how are you, and then get input, and that input will be stored in user mode or user mood. So basically I'm going to print, so there's something called string concatenation, which basically binds two strings. Everything you type like this, or the input that's going into this, is basically called a string. We'll talk about variable types later, but I'm going to show you how to do string concatenation. So I'm going to do user mood plus space is good. Boom. So now if I type in good to how are you, it's going to print good is good because string concatenation. And even if I make another variable called out and equal it to user mood plus is good, boom. So that will, if I remove all of this and say out, then if I save the program and rerun the program, how are you? I can say good, and it'll say good is good. So it basically stores that there. So if we run it again and say how are you, bad, it's going to say bad is good, but really it's not. I can show you how to change that later and make the program sense what you're typing in, but that'll be for another video. It's pretty complex for you right now because you don't know the basic syntax. Thank you for watching. This has been a little refresher. You saw me do a time-lapse program in the last episode with Windows Vista, and that was essentially what this is, just different text. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.